Hi, everyone. Happy Sunday. I hope that you are enjoying yourself here at the Black Heritage Art Show virtual style. I'm Stephannie Solomon, author, life coach, and host of the Winning Ways podcast. Well, let's get right into things. The topic is Black Women Matter. Well, I am not an expert on the subject, but I do have my opinions. Some are still evolving, but I do have some say so on the matter. What I decided to do was to interview several readers of my books, followers, subscribers of my podcast, and my social media platforms. And I just asked a simple question. I asked, what comes to mind when you see or hear Black Women Matter? And this is what they had to say. A lot of it is overlapping, but this topic has so many extensions, and it deserves discussion, and it deserves space. And so let's hear what people are saying, what people are talking about regarding this matter. I guess Black women should matter when they are looked over by Black men for white women when they come into fame. We should encourage one another more, appreciate each other. We keep ourselves down. We have to believe that we matter. Are Black women now being defined as women of color? My focus when I think of Black Women Matter is helping young girls dream big. Black women matter, period, no discussion. How can we combat emotional and mental illness? Why are we so undervalued and underappreciated, yet so essential? I'm going to stop here. That's just a few, and I'll come back to some more of the concerns and questions. And so far, as you can see, there are several subtopics that come out of this topic. Let me try to deal with one or two and give my spin on it. The piece of Black Women Matter regarding Black men dating non-Black women. Well, ladies, I believe that you can date whoever you want. You can marry whoever you love and want. We don't have ownership of people, because of a race. Yes, there's room to say that there are some men who do disrespect Black women, and that is the topic in and of itself. But let's just look at why that question or that comment was even posed. I just think that if you get angry when you see a Black man dating or marrying a woman who's not Black, don't get angry over it. That is truly his choice. Just like if it were my choice to date someone outside of my race or ethnicity. It's that person's life. It's that person's choice. I think to be upset about it really is a reflection on how you feel about yourself. Self-worth. You can date whoever you want. You can't enforce someone's love, force people to love who you think they should love. And if you feel that a group of people have emotional, psychological problems that relate or reflected in who they date, that really isn't your concern either. So I think that what it all boils down to is how you feel about yourself. Really, let people live their lives. If you choose to date within your race, then choose to date within your race. Don't impose it on someone else. And stop reaching to find out why he did it. Well, even if you're right in why he did it, because he doesn't like Black women, which is a reflection of how he feels about himself, I agree, and about his own mother, I agree with that too. But then what? I mean, once you make that statement, then what? He still can date and marry who he wants. So what was solved by it? I think sometimes some people just argue for the sake of arguing. If the argument or the statement isn't going somewhere for the betterment of humanity and society, really, why invest in that kind of energy? So that's how I feel about that. Date whoever, you want at this juncture. The other thing was which I think was a big deal too, is emotional and mental illness. It's almost like taboo. It's getting a little better in the African American community. The talk of emotional instability and instability, and mental wellness and mental illness. But for the most part, that saying what happens in this house stays in this house and all of that, I get it if it's about protecting for the good of the family. But when it's not for the good of the family, that's not, that it's not sound at all. And that saying to me has caused a lot of pain in the lives of people, because there are still things going on in families that need to be dealt with, and people are not dealing with it because of shame and alliances that are so dysfunctional. I'm glad that people like Taraji Henson, Charlemagne the God, just to name a few, are speaking out about mental illness, about their own journey. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's great when you can get to a place of speaking not just your truth, but the truth. Because sometimes when we say your truth, it's almost saying, well, that's good for you, but not for me. But when we speak the truth, it can't be disputed. Whether we agree with it or not, it is what it is, as we like to say. So I like that they are speaking the truth. And more people need to be transparent. I just think that you can't be transparent when you're not free, when you're not delivered. If you're constantly worried about what someone else may think and whatever, you're not truly delivered. Because I do believe in telling your own story. Yet in telling your own story, there are times when aspects of your story involved other people, and there is a way to craft your story without divulging people's names or whatever. But at the same token, you can't sit around and worry about not telling your story because it involves other people and you're not blessing others. But most of all, you're not being delivered yourself, So with all that said, the whole mental illness piece, it really needs to go away. And it's only going to go away when more people dismiss the stigma that society and cultures and family members have put on mental illness. And mental illness has a range, it's not always the image of someone in such a dark place that they want to jump off of a bridge or whatever. I mean, as a child, I witnessed a neighbor, about to jump off of a roof nude, and I felt so embarrassed for children, but mental illness comes in so many different forms, deep depression. We all get sad and very sad, which is depression. But there are aspects of depression, anxiety, manic depression that can take people to very, very dark places. Emotional unrest, within ourselves can take us to places of making decisions that are harmful to ourselves and harmful to others. That happened in my own family. So I know what that's like. I know what it's like to live under the shadows of that. I know what it's like to not have people talk about it. But as I grew and experienced life and things, there were so many pieces that kept coming back, or parts that would come back to me about my own life that family wouldn't want to talk about. Only a few, and then they would give only no, tell, but don't let anybody know I'm saying this. Just such a secret, such embarrassment, but things that need to be discussed. As an educator, I witnessed, oh my God, so much of the damage done to children whose parents were, just dealing with aspects of mental illness and emotional illness. I watched a lot of children deal with it too, because children learn to cope sometimes by doing the exact same thing that's modeled before them, not knowing that it is detrimental to them, not knowing any other way to cope, but to model what they see. I also I didn't witness the suicide, but during my tenure as a teacher, three middle schoolers committed suicide. It's very real. Mental illness, emotional instability, it is very real. And we just need to, as a people, understand that it has been prevalent in our culture for a long time, and not talking about it does not make it go away. It doesn't. Sometimes these illnesses are generational. And as I said, they are modeled sometimes. And so we just have to be really careful and really understand what love really is. If we really love our family members, we'll do the best for them by taking care of ourselves. All right, let's go back to some more comments and questions. Do Black women personally believe they matter, as demonstrated in how we treat ourselves and other Black women? Has our resilience, endurance, fortitude in the face of racism, ageism, classism, colorism, sexism, and other life challenges contributed to the perception that Black women are strong? Why is self-expression of the Black woman questioned so much, particularly with how we choose to wear our hair? I'm telling you, there's just such a wide range here of what that means to different people, how, Black women matter, really it does. And this one, how can policies better reflect the importance of Black women's lives, and who are our allies and who are our advocates? All right, let me stop here, because all four of these were four different subject matters, subtopics of the topic. Okay, how can policies help? I do believe in policies. I am one who believes, that laws and policies can't change the heart. The Spirit of God only changes the heart. And that's when a person is open to be changed. But laws and policies put in place can make people less emboldened to be harmful, hateful to other people. Policies and laws also create advantages for people who are marginalized, um, to have the same opportunities as everyone else. You know, we hear the song, "This land is your land, this land is my land," from California to the New York Islands. Is it really? When we think about housing, when we think about job opportunities and expansion, is it really we're here, but that we need policies to make it believable. Because even though I believe that as a Black woman, looking at other Black women who have lived before me, made major gains, I am so appreciative. However, I believe there's still room. We don't stop with a few. We don't stop with Shirley Chisholm. We don't stop with the ones who broken the ceiling, in leadership, in government, in military, in medicine, you name it. We need more. We need more representation so that when young girls, Black and non-Black, see leadership, see inventors, see creative people, they see a multitude of people who look like them, not just one. And I do believe we need to go into spaces and places where we are underrepresented. We need more. Policies will help that. Absolutely. Policies open the door, affords more opportunities to individuals who would really, really struggle to get into those spaces where, representation needs to be. So I truly believe in policies. I do believe that I do believe that the people who work to legislate laws and implement and enforce policies, they are considered our advocates. They are our allies. Anyone who tries to hinder the conception, the moving forward of policies and expansions of any type to help Black women, any marginalized people, move forward and have access to what everyone should have access to, they are not our advocates and they are not our allies. In regard to self-expression, I believe, shows also our character and creativity, the personality is seen in self-expression. The colors we like to wear, how we style our hair, how we color it, cut it, all those things, how we wear makeup, don't wear makeup, how we talk, how we walk, how we look, how we glare, whatever. There are so many beautiful, unique ways that people express themselves, which makes us us. And to put someone down for their expression of self is wrong, simply because who are we to set a standard of what someone else should be like or do like, how they should talk, how they should dance, Now, let's be clear. Sometimes when we hear some of these statements and questions, it is assumed that we're talking or that this is related to racial perceptions. Not always. Because even within the Black culture, there are subcultures. Some people have no problem using that word ghetto, ratchet, hood rat, bougie. We have our ranks and files too. And we will label each other based off of hair. We'll put ourselves down, ladies, based off of hair, hair texture, colorism, still alive, you know, um, good hair, bad hair, still talked, still spoken in conversations in 2021. Um, we have in our own culture issues that need to be addressed within us, I think, as not before, not after, but as we seek um, not so much acceptance, but opportunities to move through the land that belongs to everyone and to grasp jobs, positions, you name it. We need to deal with what's happening also in our homes, in our communities as well, and make those a priority. You know, why is there such a sense of low self-worth? And I mean, I've seen people dressed to the nines. I mean, they, look great, but there is overcompensation for something, low self-esteem, and it always exudes. It comes out one way or another. And as someone had put in here earlier about how we treat each other, it comes out. And I believe in that the way we treat other people is an indicator of how we feel about ourselves. So I think self-expression, self-esteem, self-worth, these are things that should be nurtured first in the home. Now, if the home is a dysfunctional home, and I believe there's a level of dysfunction in every home, I think what happens is either some families work to get the dysfunction fixed, some don't. So some, in some families, things just spiral out of control because people are unwilling to do the work, get the help to no longer be dysfunctional, to dismantle the layers of generational curses and illnesses to get better. Some people just don't know any better. But again, when you find out that there's better and you want it, that's a start. But I believe that self-worth and self-esteem all starts in the family. And the freedom to express oneself, where we get the self-expression, is birthed there too. If in the home there's bullying, there's abuse of any type, physical, sexual, emotional, verbal, psychological abuse, it can shut children down. I have seen that more times than I care to tell. It can, it's like a flower that never buds. The petals just remain tight. But I've also seen many children, when they are removed, whether it's temporary or for a short time of the day, and they are put in environments where they are fostered correctly, not perfectly, but correctly. No one's perfect. I always say that. But fostered correctly, they blossom. And it's a beautiful thing to watch any human being blossom. And not just children blossom when they are placed in loving, nurturing environments that allow them to be creative, to learn their purpose, and to become aware of who they are, and to appreciate who they are, and to love who they are. To watch an adult bloom is amazing. To watch oneself bloom is amazing. So in regard to self-expression and all, I just think that when a person is in an environment where it's encouraged to love oneself, to know oneself and love oneself, and as they make mistakes, They are not shamed and guilted and abused, but they are corrected and loved and allowed to grow. It's just a beautiful thing. It really is. And when that happens, those individuals grow to foster other people, and therefore they impact their community. And as we expand that, because the came from the family first, then out to the wider community, and then to the world, it's an awesome thing. But there are just so many things that work to hamper the growth of individuals, period, in the family, in our communities. There are just so many things that people have to vie against, um, or to vie with, that hampers the growth. But it's never too late if we're willing. And like I said, you can be an old soul and learn to love and appreciate yourself and all the wonder that has been put into us. And when we love ourselves, others will see it and know it. We don't have to walk up to them and say, you need to love me. You need to respect me. You need to appreciate me. You can be like Rosa Parks, just sit down and chill. No arguing, no finger snapping, no neck wiggling, getting this rhythm, to pump yourself up to be, I'm going to turn this place out. Okay, do just that. Now what? What does that prove? You boss? Okay, you boss because you got loud and rowdy. Okay, all right. And everyone's afraid of you, and because we're afraid of you, all right, come on. No, we don't have to do that. Once you know that you know, people will know. And people will either respect or disrespect. But that should never change who we are because someone chooses to not like who we are. There are people who are not going to like us just for GP. That's life. That's life. There are 7 billion or more people on this earth. Try to get to know that many people in your lifetime. I think we spend too much time on certain people who've already proven that we're not their cup of tea. Move on. Move on. But before moving on and trying to get people to like us, have a liking for yourself. Get to like and know you. I think that the test of whether we like ourselves is how long we can be alone. How long can we be alone? And when we are alone, do we hate it because of all of the thoughts that just flood our mind? So turn the TV on, gotta have music on and noise so it'll be distraction to me. But I tell you, a good test of how you love yourself is not just how you fix yourself up, because that's a part of it now. How you care for this temple, what you ingest, what you listen to, what you eat, how much you eat, how much you listen to this, that, and the other, how much you allow to go into your body of this, that, and the other. Yeah, but there are other ways to show how much you love yourself. People will see that energy will exude and you won't have to verbally demand it. It'll be in your walk. You don't have to make up some walk. It'll be there. You don't have to say a word. It's just there. It is. You know who you are. You know your purpose. And you move on. That's self-love. And I'll talk more about the self-love and self-care later, but it all starts with self-awareness. And again, these are things that should be taught in the home. But I have learned that home is not always where the heart is for many people. Family is not all many people have. People may have, individuals who share the same DNA, but that's it. They came from the same womb, but they have different worlds. Raised in the same house, different struggles. Non-relatable. I believe the home should be the start of fostering self-awareness, self-expression, and self-love, but it's not always the case. And so it's, I think, the responsibility of people who have gained an awareness of self and know the relevance of self-awareness, self-expression, and self-love, that when they have the opportunity to meet someone, adult or child, to pour words of life into them. And if they have the opportunity, and we don't always have to solve people's problems with money. Money is not always the answer. It is an answer for many things, but it's not always the only answer. Some people just need positive attention and recognition. Some people can see strengths and creativities in individuals and know the direction or the path that that person needs to take to amplify that gift or that talent. Some people have the resources to do that with no ill will, no agenda. And I just think that when we have been blessed to come into a place of not perfection, but knowing who and whose we ought to pour that knowledge and wisdom into the hearts and minds of others. All right, let's look at what else we have here. There's a lot. If Black women really matter, why do we have to work so hard to achieve things, to achieve positions in our workforce, especially when we know that we're qualified? How do Black women handle getting dates after divorce? Hopefully the way everyone else does. The way we date shouldn't be any different. Why does it seem that Black women are either trained or forced into a role of being a strong Black woman? How does this impact her relationships socially and emotionally? I thought I saw something else about being the strong Black woman. Yeah, over here, her resilience. Has our resilience, endurance, fortitude in the face of racism, ageism, classism, colorism, sexism contributed to the perception that Black women are strong? So let me just stop there and deal with the strong Black woman, because that's an overlapping one. Yeah, history has shown that Black women are resilient. Ooh. I'll tell you, if you have not taken a course or two in African American studies and Black history, I mean, especially from an HBCU vantage point, please do so. I think if you have a heart, you'll have an appreciation for Black mothers in particularly, and see why so many Black women are angry or feel left out or whatever, and you'll start to understand some people's perspectives. This whole idea that Black women are strong, I think we have to be careful how we look at the word strong, because some people look at it and think, oh, that means that you can handle anything that life throws at you. And in that case, there are people who will just do anything and think it's okay with you. Oh, you'll be fine. Women have feelings like everyone else. And the stereotype of that one Black woman in the family, the matriarch, who sets everyone straight, no one really knows the tears and what it takes for her every day to get up. Who knows, what is she thinking? If I weren't here, I mean, she's not the savior, but people are looking at her like she is. we have to be really careful with that, because sometimes when we say someone is strong, it's a banner that really we should not want to really gravitate to so quickly, because there are just so many misinterpretations of it. There are people who won't even come to your rescue or even think that you need help, because if they think you're strong, they think you have it all together, and don't know that it takes everything in you to get up in the morning. And because they see you show up, wherever, the job, the church, whatever, they see you show up. They say, well, okay, she's okay. And you're probably this close to snapping. And the thing about that, which to me is very sad, is there are people on the outside, could be family members, neighbors, colleagues, whoever, looking at this person, quote unquote, strong, especially when they know you're going through something, and just watch. Watch in amazement. But rarely come up and ask, is there anything I can do? Because the assumption is you really are okay. You have this supernatural power to keep going. And this is the talk that I have with other sisters, so it's rare. I mean, I'm very intentional about calling certain people, certain females. I mean, I try to be careful if they're married, because I don't want to look, your husband's not doing his job, but I try, especially if they're single, to touch base with them, letter, phone call, or whatever, especially if they're open to it. Once I realize you're not open to it, I'm not going to push the envelope. But we have to not assume that everyone is okay because they appear to be strong. And I think that's been one of the sad aspects of labeling Black women as strong, because it's like they'll be okay, and we just leave them. There are men who looked at it like that, or she'll be fine, and she's not really fine. You see this puzzle? All of these are puzzles behind me. Jigsaw puzzles. I love jigsaw puzzles. You see the one? Wait a minute. There we are. This one here with the lady on the side of the bed. It's called Blue Monday. The name of the author, not the author, I'm sorry, the artist doesn't come to me quickly. A lot doesn't come to me quickly. But if you Google Blue Monday, the puzzle, you'll see the name of the artist. This puzzle spoke to me when I saw it. So many days I got out of the bed like that. Now, by the time I got to work and my mojo was going, you wouldn't believe I woke up and on the side of the bed like that. But I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone. And we appear to be strong and have it all together. And there are people who won't even come and say, hey, Steph, how's your day? How you doing today? Now that I'm not saying it's never happened, but they are few and in between. And I can remember, to show you how people really think you're strong, it's to me, it's nothing worse, but it's just not a good moment to have a moment and you're around the wrong person. And they're looking like, oh my God. I mean, they really don't know what to do, because they've seen you as the savior, the one who always gets out, the one who always seems to make things happen, and they don't know what to do. That's not helpful. That has happened to me. Been in the hospital, and oh my God, the people who are coming into the room don't need to be in here. And I just don't, please that they need to be out because that energy, I can't take it. And they're sitting looking at me like, oh my God. And I've seen it happen to other people as well. So sometimes having that label of strength, and I don't think we ought to put it on ourselves, but people put it on us. And sometimes people do it with manipulation. They put it on us. If I tell you that you're strong, that makes you feel good. And then I don't have to step up and do my part because you're going to do it for me. You know, I remember I had a conversation with one of my superiors in school as a former teacher. And I noticed the pattern started happening at this particular school that every year I started getting what they call the worst of the bunch every year. And so I was becoming more of a behavior manager than a math teacher. And I went to an administrator about it and had a conversation. And her reply was, but you're so good with them. And I said, is that so? Okay. So you don't see that when I leave here every day, I'm drained. You don't see that my creative juices are impacted every day because I don't complete a lesson plan, you know, but you can. But we're all trained as educators to manage these behaviors, but you're going to group them all and put them in my room. And you're not making me feel good by telling me, oh, you just work so well with them. You get so much out of them. You get them to places no one else could. No, that's not making me feel good, lady. You know, we have to be careful because there are people will try to put those tags on you so that they themselves can avoid responsibilities. You know, that whole strong thing, it comes with some components there that I don't find admirable personally. I don't find admirable because I don't think it's right that one person should bear the burden for groups of people, especially when they become adults. Yes, I said what I said. And so having that label of being strong, I think people do what they need to do. And I also think something to just put on people, and some people accept it, and some people accept it because they haven't been accepted anywhere else, and it makes them feel important. You know, it reminds me of Black men having leadership in the church, you know, for so many years, you know, in the workforce in particularly. They weren't acknowledged. They weren't given leadership roles, but leadership roles came as deacon and pastor and minister, you know, in the church, you know, and here I, as somebody, you know, people look up to me, they listen to me, you know, well, strong Black woman, sometimes, be careful. There's some who like that tag because at work, I'm just mediocre. You know, over here, I'm not looked at. Over here, I'm not recognized. People don't see me over there. But in my family, people say I'm strong. People come to me for this and they come to me for that. And you like that, don't you? Yeah. So we got to really be careful with that word strong. I'd rather use resilient because resilient means I've been through something and my inner self wants to survive and thrive so bad that through it all, whatever it was, rape, poverty, discrimination, race, whatever it was, family discord, whatever, I came through it. Fortitude, I'm here. Tenacity, perseverance, endurance, I made it. You know, resilient. I like that a little better. All right, let me hit some more here before we close out. Ooh, this one person says, why don't you know that you matter? Why don't you know it? Do Black women matter to other Black women? I don't know. That's, why haven't the killings of women of color received the same attention as those of men? Okay. Why are we still considered the help? Who do we matter to? Black women must remember that they are fearfully and wonderfully created and shaped by their Heavenly Father and are a force to be reckoned with. And this is kind of similar. Does family and society think that we are strong because we keep showing up? And I think I read that one already. Some of these definitely overlap. I'm just trying to see real quick which ones. Well, I tell you, the bottom line is if we don't know that we matter, we shouldn't go around expecting other people to treat us like we matter. Because what will that look like? What does it look like when someone knows you matter? What does respect look like? Because most people say, oh, respect. Well, what does respect look like? You know? When you know that you matter, your choices are different. You know, how you perceive your life is different. I think before we start expecting other people to, I don't want to say accommodate us, but expect other people to give us what we think or say we are due, we ought to know what we are due. And we only know what we are due when we know who we are and whose we are. And I think a lot of African-American women think they know who they are. And truthfully, we are evolving. If we know who we are people who are evolving. We should not be who we were 20 years ago, 15 years ago, if we're still growing. I'm not who I was when I was in high school, thank God. It's funny when I run into people who knew me in high school, I knew them, and we weren't really even acquaintances then, just knew we went to the same school. And even those who I was acquaintances with, I would hope that they are not the same people, they are the same body, but the same mindset, Sometimes there's nothing else to talk about, just high school, this, that, and that. I just think people ought to be evolving. How much of that can we talk about? That was 40 some years ago. A lot has happened. And I think when you matter, you grow. And the truth is, when you grow, you outgrow some things and you outgrow some people because everyone's not willing to grow with you. And they don't have to. People don't have to agree with your choices of growing. They don't have to agree. But if they know it's for your betterment, I think they should celebrate it, and vice versa. Celebration. And I think that, we talk about, someone mentioned about Black women and how we treat each other. I think it's all about when you know who you are, you love who you are, you don't have room to be jealous with someone else, worried about if a man is dating a white woman. You don't have time for that because you're so busy on the trajectory that's set for you, the plan that's been ordained for you, the purpose for your own life. And when you are of that mindset, you can celebrate and support other Black women. You can tell a sister, girl, you wearing that. That looks good on you. I like that color on you. That lipstick looks great. I love those earrings. You can say that and mean it. Yeah, and it just comes naturally and so easy, you know. It's all about knowing and loving this person. Because when we know and love this person, we don't have to go out and scream, look at me, look at me, look at me. People will see you. We don't have to wear the loudest colors and be the loudest one in the room because, as a child, we just didn't get the attention that we were supposed to get. I used to say to one of my students, when he said, did your parents not give you a hug today? So come over here, let me give you a hug so you can be cool for the rest of the day. And so they were trying to play it off all hard, but they know they want that hug. Come on over. Let me give you this hug so you'll be cool for the rest of the day. But I tell you, when we know who we are and we'll get the recognition and we humbly accept the favor that's bestowed on us, then we can give it to others with no looking for nothing in return. Because it's easy and it's free, it's not a problem. But I tell you, it's hard to love other sisters. If you ask that question and you've seen it happen, that means that those sisters have an issue with themselves. You have an issue with self if you cannot celebrate another sister. You don't have to, be about everything, every genre. Like, I'm an author. My genre isn't for everyone. I don't like everyone's genre. I'm not a sci-fi person. I used to love romance, but that was when I was in high school. That's not my thing anymore. Poetry. It was okay in high school, but that's not my thing. Thrillers, certain ones, I'll read, and certain movies I'll watch that are thrillers. Don't get offended. I tell people who are pursuing their dreams and certain things, don't get offended when folk don't buy into, I thought more people would support me. Who are the more people? Your family and your friends? They should not be the bulk of your business. That's where you make a mistake. You're not going to get rich with just them. 7 billion people, start working, move out. But everyone's not going to support your dream for one reason or another. And don't get offended. But some people will support, but not in the way we want. Maybe, I've heard people tell me I'm not a reader. I've heard some people who are teachers say that. And I was like, okay, but but I'll support you in this way and that way. That's fine. That's great. They're going to still celebrate my gift, and I'm the same way with some others. I may not, be about that particular business or whatever, but I'll try to support you in some way. But we just have to understand everyone's not for us. We're not for everyone, but that should never stop us loving on ourselves because we're not getting it from this person or that person. Don't stop loving on yourself because you're dejected and rejected. And I'm telling you, rejection and dejection, it's a major thing. It really is. But we have to press through that because we matter. We matter. When each woman believes and operates in that she matters, then we all matter. And we will live like it. We'll walk like it. We'll move into boardrooms. We'll be in leadership positions. We'll help create policies for our sisters who have not reached, hold on a second, turn this off, who have not reached a certain place in life yet where they can do a lot independently. We just want to help them. I'm telling you, it starts with us. So when you say Black women matter, yes, we do. And it matters that we invest in us. It matters that we invest in ourselves. With whatever we have, make it work. With whatever we have, make it work. Appreciate what you have, the little things. so that when you eventually get the big things, you're humbled and you can help and you can extend a hand. Okay, so have a lot more to say, but I'm gonna shut this down. As I said, I'm not an expert on it. I would love to just have a conversation with other women about it because there are so many different perspectives on it. You know, as you heard with the questions, everyone's not looking at it from a group standpoint. Some people are looking at it from an individual standpoint. You know, invest in yourself, help yourself, do this for you, you know. So yeah, so I hope that this has been helpful. um, Please reach out, let me know if this session was a blessing to you. I'm on social media. It's Stephannie Solomon and Stephannie Books, Books. That is not my last name. And you can find me at www.stephanie with two N's, books.com. This has been great. Continue to enjoy all of the rooms and all of the other sessions here at the Black Heritage Art Show virtual style. Take care.